Alright, ADATA Army, CorporalSaturn here. I know it's been a long time since I've made a video, but I just really haven't felt inspired to make anything. I don't want this video to be about that. This video is actually about something a little bit cooler. I bought myself a new computer. So what I want to do is sort of catalog my process for what I usually do when I get a new rig. I've actually done this a few times. So I'm breaking this down into 3 major days. I've got day 1, which is where I'm going to be doing a lot of planning and figuring out what I need to keep. And then on day 2, I'm going to actually do all the moving. Almost everything is going to either go onto on an external hard drive or on the cloud drive or backed up to the cloud in some capacity. I'll probably opt for cloud for some of the simpler things, because that way I can just turn one drive back on and have it. That dog is barking. And then day 3 is just, my note here says, when the damn thing gets here, that's what I'm going to be moving everything over. So that's just kind of what this video is going to be. I understand if you want to skip it, but I just wanted to catalog it. I thought it would be kind of fun, toss in some memes. Anyway, that's more than enough preamble. Let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this video. By the way, last thing I want to say, I do have another video planned. It's a coding video. It's my first try at something like that. I've been watching a lot of Fireship.io, Ben Awad, I think is his name, and Polymars. Really great creators for code, because each of them has their own approach, and I want to do something like that. So, I'm going to try it my own way. But yeah, that'll be out when it's out. I'm hoping to get it out before 2021. I also am planning another video. It's another episode of On the Couch with Corporal finally. And it's going to be sort of recapping my 2020. It's been a crazy year, and I just sort of wanted to, for myself, I wanted to have this sort of log of, how I felt. But preamble's finally over. Let's go to dawn of the first day, which is going to be tomorrow. So it's the first day. I checked the progress of the package this morning. It's still the exact same place it was on Friday. So that's a bit obnoxious, but it's fine. So what we're going to do today, like I said in the previous part of this video, is I'm going to go through my computer and figure out what needs to be moved, what I need to copy over in some capacity. I'm not going to actually do any of the copying. I'm just going to plan. That way, because I plan on using this today and tomorrow, and then kind of up until the day it comes. So I'm gonna start with the programs that I, and things that I know I'm going to need to move. My VS Code plugins, my Premiere Effect presets for programs that I'll need to reinstall. And for these, I don't see myself making any changes to them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna export them, I'm gonna figure out how to export them, and I'm gonna put them all into my OneDrive. Then with the programs, it's just a matter of making a list of the ones I need to reinstall. That's actually not gonna be too hard. And then I'm going to have to go through pretty much everything that I have immediate access to here on my hard drive. The good thing is my A drive here, which is where my, games are, I'm just going to rip this out of this computer and then put it in the new one, so I won't need to actually do any copying. Alright, so in order to move over all my extensions, it was actually very easy. All I did was install a couple command line tools, and I used the VS Code documentation. I installed Yo and Code Generator to build a small project which lists all of the installed extensions as part of the package.json file. Then I have to run a command line tool, VSCE package. Alright, so yeah, I guess you also need a publisher in the package.json. So I'm just going to put my name. And let's try this again. Apparently you need to just basically nuke the README entirely. So because I did that, and then I built it, and then it made a .vsix file, which is now in this folder here. Yeah, that's that. I've also copied over my VS Code settings. I know that there's a settings sync feature, but I don't really want to fuck with that just yet. So I'm pretty much done with all my programming, encoding related programs. Next, I have to do OBS and then Adobe Premiere. Then I'm going to do a quick sort of root around to make sure I'm not missing anything super important. Under your scenes, you can actually just export whatever your active scene is, and then it'll create a JSON file. And for profiles, you just do the same thing. You get a profile, then you go to export, and then it'll create a folder with some stuff in it. But basically, in a profile folder, you've got 2 JSON files, and then like a settings.ini type file. So for Adobe Premiere, it's actually not all that hard either. You basically right-click on your preset or your effect, you go to Export Presets, and you just give it a name. So that's Adobe Premiere done. Alright. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all of the configuring I need to do. Again, I'll probably just double check to be 100% sure later on. But I mean, a lot of the like my Chrome extensions are tied to my account. Most of the, PyCharm and IntelliJ, I don't really have any extensions. I mean, I do have extensions for it, but I can just look them up. So next, I guess, is making the list of programs that I'll need to install on my new machine. And instead of just making updates whenever I think of a program, I'll probably just, at the end, go through the list with you and make updates to any config files I need to move. Alright, it is several hours later. My list of everything I need to move, I think, is pretty complete. I won't read out the whole thing. What I'll do is, over here on the left, I'll have it scroll, so you guys can see just how much I could remember today. So that's pretty much the end of day one. Tomorrow is when I'm going to actually start moving stuff. I won't show too much of that. I'll probably just show, like, when I start and how long it's going to take, and just, little mini micro updates. Okay, welcome to the second day. I got an update this morning. The computer is actually in the same state as me. It's about an hour away. Maybe like an hour and some change. But I still don't know if it'll get here today. I'm hopeful that it will, but, again, it is supposed to come by tomorrow. So, I've got everything set up on my external hard drive, which is on this monitor here. You can't really see it. I have 3 folders. I have one for my D drive, which is where all my storage is, my A drive, which is my solid state, and where all my games and emulators are. What else? And that's really it. So I'm basically just going to move the contents to these folders. I'm copying the entirety of the contents from my D drive to this folder here called D drive. It says about 35 minutes.
Hi, CorporalSaturn in post here. I wanted to make a quick update. There's a big sort of jarring cut here. That's because the stuff that I cut was me talking about moving my games and things from my solid state A drive to the external hard drive. I ended up actually not needing to do that, so there was really no point in showing it. So next I'm going to talk about moving stuff from my C drive.
Okay, so I have successfully copied everything over from my C drive to the external hard drive. I copied the contents of the move folder, which had most of my config files in it. And then I also copied over some game saves and documents and project files from any coding projects I'm working on. Pretty much any sort of last minute gotchas in addition to what I had already planned. So with that being said, that's pretty much going to be a wrap on day 2. Tomorrow, day 3, it was when it's supposed to get here, and that's going to be, setting up the machine, some benchmark testing, maybe a couple of the new features I'm excited about. Yeah, so I guess now it's a waiting game. Let's see what day 3 has to offer. Welcome to day 3. As you know by now, today is just setup day. As of 1 a.m. this morning, it is about half an hour away from my house. I'm very excited, very hopeful. Just wanted to make this quick start. Still in my pajamas, I'm about to go take a shower. So yeah, at this point it's just a waiting game. I'm going to be hanging out in my room, looking out the window, and as soon as I see a UPS truck pulling in my driveway, I'm going to bolt downstairs. And then, so the next update you see will either be for me at the end of the day saying it didn't come, or me in this room with the package. So I will see you then. It is the ass end of the delivery window. It's here. I'm very excited for it. I cannot contain my excitement right now. I'm so excited. You can probably tell because I'm stuttering. I'm gonna open this up. I'll do a little quick walk around. You may notice that I'm wearing different clothes. That's because it is a separate day. It's because the last couple days there have been some problems that I've been trying to solve. I do want to say that overall, I do love the computer. I do not regret purchasing it, and I will start with the good and then go into some of the bad and why it's been a sort of weird couple days and why I'm not as excited as I was when I was staring at the box. Although I did just get a weird second wind, and I am excited again. So, setting it up was actually not too hard. It was pretty plug and play. Setting up my peripherals was super easy. I was also able to just I didn't even have to re-download or move my games from the external hard drive. I basically just renamed the existing directories that were there, reinstalled Steam and Epic Games, and then moved the games over and verified the installations, and then I did some tests and everything was working fine. there's a Corsair cooler in there. Right now it's very quiet. In general, it's very quiet for everyday use. When I'm gaming, it does tend to get a little bit loud. Nothing super bad. Better it be loud and doing its job than be quiet and next thing I know my computer catches fire. I don't know if they get that bad. It was a joke. It's never happened. In terms of gaming, oh god, so gorgeous. I'm not even talking in terms of quality. I'm talking in terms of performance. I was able to play Borderlands 3 with maxed out settings on my old PC, which had a 1080 in it, and it worked fine. But with this new card, which is a GTX 3080, I can play Borderlands 3 at 2K resolution, maxed out settings, and there has not once been a frame dip. When the screen gets busy, not a problem. There was one time where the game started chugged and straight up froze, but I don't think that's the fault of the graphics card. I think I think that just might be a weird thing that happened. But in general, I was getting consistently high frame rates, and it was awesome. I was also able to play Minecraft RTX, and I will admit I was a little bit underwhelmed because I have been playing with shaders since I got that computer. But the fact that there's no mods involved at all, it's absolutely gorgeous. RTX Minecraft is absolutely gorgeous. I also messed around with some shaders. I didn't get the fancy ray tracing shaders that Sonic Ether made. Sonic Ether's Unbelievable Shaders, SAUS. I know he made some ray tracing shaders, but you have to pay to get those because they're on his Patreon. I did not want to pay. I just spent $2,000 on that machine. On this machine. So I went with these extreme shaders. I'll put the name here. It starts with it's like Chikopic. That's what my brain wants to say, but I know that that's not right. Even when I was using the high shaders for that particular shader pack, if I were to play Minecraft in full screen 2K on my old PC, I'd get some frame hits. Maybe I'd get a consistent 40 or 50 frames, and that's not bad. But on this machine, I'm able to use the extreme shaders, which I'm able to use the better shaders. Extreme shaders is definitely better than high. I don't know. Again, I don't know about ultra, but I assume extreme is better than ultra. I'm able to play with the extreme shaders in full 2K resolution, and I can consistently get somewhere between 80 and 90 frames a second. I played for, God, I think 3 hours plus today. I was just playing in a single player world, and the fan didn't even get that loud. It got really loud when I was playing Borderlands, but not Shaders Minecraft, and it looked gorgeous, and there were no performance problems. Setting up the second hard drive was actually not that hard. It was basically you just plug it in and plug it into the motherboard. Something else that's good, the cable management. Awesome job. Really great job. Everything, there's nothing clumped. It's all hidden and, it's all hidden, tied, and distributed very well. Yeah, and there's a hard drive cage too, so once you can get it out, putting another hard drive in there is easy. But I do want to talk about that. And that sort of leads me into the bad. We'll start with when I first opened it up. The screws holding the two side panels on, the screws in general, look like they're made. It looks like it's cheap metal. It flakes off when you scratch at it, and it looks like And when I did unscrew it, and I hope maybe I'll go back and I'll get a picture or a video of this. One of the screws had some of its teeth off, and it looked like some of the metal had been stripped away. That was kind of concerning. It looked like someone had just kind of forced the screw in there, and it never really unscrews all the way without any resistance. I always have to sort of jiggle it when I get it out that last bit. It holds all together, so I guess I really shouldn't complain. Getting the hard drive cage out was a pain. It chipped a lot before I finally got it to turn, and I actually, you know what's weird? I had to tighten it before I could loosen it, which was even more bizarre. Let's see. Next, I mentioned that the fan runs kind of high. On a previous PC, I had a Corsair cooler, and I was able to install Corsair Link to have more control of the fan speed. There was a certain curve that on that old PC my motherboard had interpolated, and I wanted to use that curve. So I went to install Corsair Link this morning, and it didn't work. And I was like, okay. I restarted the PC a couple of times. I scanned for hardware changes, nothing. I double checked to make sure it was plugged in. It is definitely plugged into the motherboard via the weird USB-C cord it has, but it didn't work. But I don't think that that's their fault. That's not the CyberPowerPC's fault. I think that that's probably my fault for not doing enough research. The cooler that's in there is an RGB Platinum edition of the cooler that I was looking up. So maybe I need the iQ software. If you know, it's a Corsair HDR RGB Platinum. So if I need to use the iQ, please let me know in the comments, because I would like to be able to control the fan, but if I could control the RGB, that'd be cool too. In terms of what was included, the only booklet I got was for the motherboard. I didn't get anything for the Corsair peripheral, which was not you know, part of that was an upgrade that I purchased. I feel like I should have gotten the booklet for that. I mean, the PDF is available online, sure, but I still feel like I should have gotten the booklets for that. So, that's not great. Next thing is, when I started it up, for whatever reason, my hard drives, all of my hard drives were reading as removable, the internal ones. Turns out that there was like a hot plug option that I had to disable in the BIOS, but every other computer I've had has had that disabled. Maybe I'm the crazy one, but it seems weird that maybe they had to do some testing for that, but they should have turned it back if they did. And I'm not even trying to blame anyone for that. That's just something that bogged down the experience. So the last two things have to do with CyberPowerPC directly, and they're the reason that I cannot recommend that you buy from them. It's one, their support is, they're rude and dismissive, and that's a common, if you look up, like, you know, if you look them up on the Better Business Bureau, if you look up, you know, in their forums, you'll see this is a very common theme among people buying from them. When I initially ordered it, there was an extra confirmation step which I had to call. So I called, and the agent, he was very informative, but he was very dismissive too. I mean, just trying to get me off the phone, like, didn't really want me to ask any more questions. That's when I first bought it. Then it gets here. We're going to very quickly get into the second reason, then get back into the first reason. When my Windows installation wasn't activated, the license key was supposed to be attached to the motherboard. Not, I mean, like, physically on it. I mean, like, it's a digital license, so it should have been embedded. I read online that that's a fairly common issue. The license key was not printed anywhere on the box or the computer. So I immediately called support. This guy was just so rude and dismissive. Like, even like, he's like, "Thanks for calling CyberPower. How can I help you?" I stop, I breathe, I turn on my, you know, like, my nice voice. I'm like, "Hi, I just got a computer, and, you know, Windows isn't activated, and I just, you know, I looked on the box. I made it very clear that I tried a bunch of stuff to get it to work." And you know, and he goes, "Okay, give me your invoice number." And I give it to him. He's like, "Give me your account number." I give it to him. He's like, "Okay, someone will email you the license key." I'm like, "Oh, okay, great. Do you have any idea when that will be?" And he said pretty much this. He said this pretty much exactly. "It could take an hour, maybe longer. I don't know. It really depends on our workload." They never sent me a key that day. Called yesterday was Thanksgiving. I called. No, I was on hold for an hour, and I fully realized that was my own time wasted. I should have realized they were probably closed on Thanksgiving, but there was nothing on their site to indicate that. So I called and I sent an email because I was a little bit mad. This afternoon, I finally get a response saying, "Send us a picture of the serial number of your computer so we can proceed." And then I respond within 5 minutes saying, "Here you go." 2 hours go by, nothing. I send a follow-up email. "Please let me know if you need me to resend the picture or it didn't attach or anything." No response. Finally, I get on the phone and I'm on hold again for about 20 minutes. In the middle, while I'm on hold, I get an email response, finally, with the license key. I use it, I activate it, Windows is now activated. I'm happy. The guy on the email ticket just straight up didn't email me, like, for hours on end. So CyberPower's support is complete trash, and that's why I cannot recommend that you buy from them. Like, all those bad things kind of bogged it down for me. I'm still very excited, and I'm, you know, excited to see what editing is going to be like. But yeah. All right. I'm sure this video is long enough, so I won't ramble on. I'll probably add a comment if I have any more final thoughts. Basically, you know, I did enjoy this, definitely more at the beginning than at the end. I hope it's obvious as to why. Let me know if you liked this, and specifically if you did what you liked about this kind of video. As I'm experimenting. I want to try new stuff. That's going to end today's mission. Your next mission, should you choose to accept it, is to leave a like and a comment on this video. My next video will either be a coding video where I'm working on a project from start to finish, or an On the Couch with Corporal where I recap my personal 2020.